reading is about negotiable instruments, type of negotiable instruments. This is an introduction. A negotiable instrument is a document that includes a promise to pay a certain amount of money to the bearer of the document. It is a mode of transferring a debt from one person to another. Negotiable instruments are always in written form. The definition of a negotiable instrument is documents of a certain type that are used in commercial transactions and monetary dealings are known as negotiable instruments. Negotiable means transferable by delivery, and instrument means a written document in which a right is created in favor of some person. Thus, a negotiable instrument means a document that is transferable by delivery. According to Section 13.1 of Negotiable Instruments Act 1881, a negotiable instrument includes and means a promissory note, bill of exchange, or check. Types of negotiable instruments, there are two types. One, instrument negotiable by statute. Two, instrument negotiable by custom usage. The instruments that are negotiable by statute, the Negotiable Instrument Act mentions three types of negotiable instruments. Section 13, these are promissory notes, bill of exchange, and checks. Instruments negotiable by custom or usage. There are that in other instruments which have occupied the character of negotiability as a result of usage or custom of trade. For example, exchequer bill, banknotes, share warrants, circular notes, bearer debentures, dividend warrants, share certificates with blank transfer deeds, etc. Promissory note. On Section 4 of the Act defines a promissory note as an instrument in writing. It contains an unconditional undertaking, which is a promise, which is signed by the maker to pay a certain sum of money to the order of a certain person or to the bearer of the instruments. The person who makes the promissory note promises to pay and is called the maker. The person to whom the payment is to be made is called the payee. The following are the essential features of the promissory note. 1. The promise must be in writing. 2. The promise must be signed by the maker or payer. 3. The promise must be unconditional. 4. The amount to be paid must be definite in terms of money. 5. It must be payable on demand or at a fixed or determinable future date. 6. It must be payable to a definite person. 7. Promissory note must bear stamp. Excuse me if I don't say this case right. In Chatabolio, Bascara, Rayo's case, the Honorable High Court of Andhra Pradesh, remember this is India, held that since the promissory note is not a compulsorily attestable document, even if the signatures of the attesters are taken, and after its execution, it does not amount the material alteration. So it does not get vitiated. Therefore, whether there were attesters or not at the time of its execution is immaterial, more so when its execution is admitted. I'm going to read it again without all the little case. The Honorable High Court of Anhara Pradesh held that since the promissory note is not a compulsorily attestable document, High Court of Anhara Pradesh held that since the promissory note is not a compulsorily attestable document, even if the signatures of the attesters are taken and after its execution, it does not amount the material alteration, so it does not get vitiated. Therefore, whether there were attesters or not at the time of its execution is immaterial, more so than its execution is admitted. Bill of exchange definition is an instrument in writing. Further, it contains an unconditional order signed by the maker, directing a certain person to pay a certain sum of money only to or to the order or certain person to the bearer of the instrument. The difference between a promissory note and a bill of exchange: the promissory note is an unconditional promise or undertaking, and it has to have a stamp. The bill of exchange is so a promissory note, there is no signer on the contract from the other party, which is the seller. On the bill of exchange, the seller, he signed the contract and handed it to you. So the bill of exchange is, I told you got to have an unconditional order to pay to the order of some certain amount or to the bearer. And this one doesn't have to be stamped. The essentials for a bill of exchange is: 1, the amount payable must be certain. 2, the payment must be made in money. 3, the bill payable may be either on demand or after a specified period. 4, the bill may be payable either to the bearer or to the order or payee. A check. A check is a bill of exchange drawn on a specified banker. It is expressed to be payable otherwise than on demand. Essentials for a check must be in writing, express order to pay, definite or unconditional order, signed by the drawer, order to pay a certain amount, payable on demand. And there was a reading about the negotiable instruments, an introduction, definitions, and the type of negotiable instruments. Peace.